David shows up on a battle not to fight as a soldier. David shows up as an errand boy for his dad to bring money, to bring some cheese and some other food to his brothers and to the general. So David has no obligation to fight the Goliath. Goliath poses no direct threat to David. Goliath is not David's problem. It's the problem to his brothers because they're the soldiers. It's Saul's problem, not David's. And I want you to see this. David comes on the battlefield and Goliath over there, who is the problem of David's brothers and Saul. But David gets involved to help his brothers overcome their battle. The whole story of David killing Goliath is actually a story of a man coming in someone's battle and helping someone else win a battle that wasn't their own. I genuinely believe when you arrive on the battlefield of marriage, I know marriage is beautiful, but marriage is also a battlefield. For some people it's a battlefield because they fight each other. But battlefield in meaning that the other person that you are marrying, the other person that you have married, many times will have their giants that they're fighting. Will have their issues that they're trying to resolve in their life. And you're coming alongside as David, help him to beat that Goliath instead of beating them in marriage. And I want to share with you this afternoon, and practically, how do we go about helping someone else in our family win a spiritual battle without crippling them or diminishing or destroying them. Because a lot of times what happens is we don't beat the Goliath, we beat each other. Goliath triumphed. And yes, we can get divorced and we can restart that, but for many cases it never fixes the real issue. There are cases I'm not going to go into, that's not a message today on divorce and remarriage and all of this stuff, but for a lot of people the problem continues. The next statistic even says that the second marriages, the divorce rate is 75%. The third marriages is 80%. The further you go, the divorce rate goes on. Why? Because many people are leaving battlefields without Goliath's head. They're leaving with their spouse's head. It's their spouse that got crushed, not the enemy. And we can restart and we can start clean, move to a new city, get a new person. But if it's the same problem, you find yourself in the same situation. And we don't want that. I always tell people, if there's a light bulb that went out in your house, you don't replace the house, you replace the light bulb. Are you with me? I want you to write this down. The first point is, remember your lions before you attempt to help someone with their giants. Before David could help his brothers with their giants, David had to be aware of the fact that he had had a lions in his own past that he, by the grace of God, has dealt with. Before you can help someone with their issues, make sure that your own issues are being addressed and being faced. One of the reasons we love to ignore our issues is we try to shift the blame for how we are reacting, how we are acting on someone else, and because our spouse is nearest to us, we blame it on them. And it goes like this: the reason why I'm angry is because my spouse is crazy. The reason why I am impatient, or the reason why I do this, is because they do that. If they stop doing that, my problem will be resolved. So the problem is never you, it's always them. If they clean up their mess, if they get rid of their demons and their issues, you won't have nothing. Actually, you don't even have any problems. It's their problems that are creating problems for you. I remember I had that with my brother. Won't mention which brother, there's only two, which is not hard to ask, by the way. And then one particular brother, when I was not married, and he one time drove me crazy. So crazy. We had to translate for my parents and he didn't want to translate. He just acted like he didn't speak English. And so I had to step in and translate it for my parents. And I was like, man, why couldn't you do it, man? You never do anything. And I was like, and I just got so mad. I remember I go to the restroom, I sit in the restroom now, and I'm just like, my blood is just boiling inside. And I hear this still small whisper. The Holy Spirit says, Vlad, you're such an angry person. And I said, no, my brother is just insensitive, disrespectful, rebellious child. Like, he never respects mom and dad. And I hear the Holy Spirit say, you're such an angry person. And I said, if it wouldn't be for my brother, there would be no ounce of anger ever coming out of me. He says, has it ever occurred to you that maybe I use your brother to reveal to you that I see the anger in you every day? You don't see it. therefore you don't deal it, and I want to show it to you, but you can't even receive what I'm showing you because you're blaming it on somebody who bumped into you. How could you see any other way if I wouldn't let him bump into you? You can't fix someone until you acknowledge the fact that the water that came out of the cup is not their fault. Now they have a fault. They should be careful not to keep bumping, but you should also empty your cup. You should also deal with the issues that are inside of you. Come on somebody, are you with me? I want you to see what Jesus Christ said. He said to people who want to go fix everybody, I want you to see what He says in Matthew chapter 7. He says that before you go about, He says, why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye and do not consider a plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck out of your eye, and look, there's a plank in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly how to remove the speck out of your brother's eye. Jesus is saying, in fact, is if you keep blaming the other brother or your wife for the fact that the water came out, Jesus says, you know what? Honestly, why don't you first clean up the cup, make it empty, and then if your brother, sister, wife, husband bumps into you, He says we can deal with the bump because we don't have the water being splashed. Many of us, we blame our reaction on the action of someone else. In reality, your reaction is a result of your character, not whoever bumped into you. In order to help someone with their spiritual problem, we have to first be watchful that we are taking care and we are owning up to the issues that are surfacing in their heart because of their problem.